We have much to do in learning of Torah, rather than have to respond to all kinds of people who use the websites as a way to vent their anger and frustration. My job is to communicate as clearly and concisely as possible. I don't claim to have infinite amounts of wisdom or knowledge. I have a few interesting tidbits that I share with you, that I've shared with you, and the ideas come after long thought and experience. I do not have to go ahead and go and explain at length how I came to these conclusions and why. Those are boring and lengthy and don't accomplish very much, for this is a medium where people have attention spans that are only seconds long. But to respond to some of my critics out there regarding several things that I said about Maimonides. Number one, Maimonides says in different places that people like fortune tellers, people who claim to have certain spiritual powers, are all a bunch of fakers. So how could I say in my video regarding holiness, which the main thing there is that holiness comes after purity, which requires the proper action, and holiness is dependent upon the state of mind, the intent, the purity of the intent of the person. So people came off on this, that I mentioned that there are some people that have powers. How could I say that they have powers when Maimonides, who is the greatest Jewish thinker of all times, says that these people are a bunch of hucksters? For the most part, there are people who are hucksters. That is true. However, Ramban in Parshas Shoftim, if you look in other Meforshim, including the Or HaChaim, agree with him that in this area, Rambam was not correct. Rambam said that all the people who claim to be diviners are false. They have no power at all. Ramban says you cannot deny that which is readily apparent. And there's a wisdom to this. For those people out there who believe that there are no such people who have powers outside of their select few people who they know 7 rabbis and know of a couple of other people, nobody else counts. They're totally ignorant about other Jewish communities and the greatness of the people there. And the greatness of the people there does not diminish the greatness of the Rebbe. But they are totally not knowledgeable of what goes on in the world or what goes on in the other parts of the Jewish world. That said, the important thing is to realize that holiness is not dependent upon the ability to manipulate things, which is the concept of kishuf, of black magic. According to the Ramban, it's the ability of manipulating the divine forces that God has set in this world. Now, how they do that and what is the wisdom behind that, I don't know. I don't engage in that. But he clearly says that people who are engaged in black magics and the dark arts are able to engage some of the forces that God has released within this world, and that these forces are within the ability of people to manipulate. Similar concept is found in the Chamsa Sefer in Parshas Mishpatim, in the book of Exodus, where it says, you shall not allow a witch to live, and whoever lies carnally with an animal shall die. And the Chassam Sofer, Rav Moses Sofer of Pressburg, 19th century scholar, asks, what is the connection between a witch and somebody who lies carnally with an animal? And he answers that witchcraft is within the capacity of a woman because she has a menstrual cycle under which the process of life and death is found within herself. A man is not able to descend to the level of witchcraft unless he lies carnally with an animal, bestiality. This is found in the Torah's Moshe of Rav Moshe Sofer. This is his interpretation. I heard this when I was 18. This is 47 years ago in Eretz Yisrael. And the idea was something that did not register completely until in the 70s people started getting involved into the occult, trying to find out what was there. Since I was involved in dealing with students, I wanted to know what they had to say, so I bought a magazine to see what was involved. I saw nothing except an article regarding magic sex. I didn't understand it till I recalled this Chassam Sofer, that human deviant sexual behavior is at the core of people trying to harness impure powers, especially men. Women don't have to do that because they naturally have the cycle within themselves. From there, I met different people in all walks of life and figured out that a lot of the powers that people have come from this deviant power that comes from sexual energy. Indeed, these ideas are found in different places, and I'm not the author of that idea. This is only an idea that I came upon later on in life. One of the people that I met, who happens to be a remarkable woman writer, told me that for a time she was a medium. I have no reason to doubt her, as she is highly respected and her works are read far and wide. She said this to me very, very clearly, personally, and I asked her also, when did she learn that she had this power of being a medium? And she answered me that this happened around the time that her marriage was going sour. And so this actually fitted in very nicely with the ideas of Rabbi Sofer, the Chassam Sofer, that deviant or frustrated or misplaced sexual energy can be used in a way that people can have certain power.